Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks again for joining me for another lovely edition of this show. Today we're trying something a little different. Hilton Hotel internationally shared on social media the highly coveted DoubleTree chocolate chip cookie recipe. Now, this is a recipe that not everyone, but a lot of people have tried to do and to replicate a lot of times, getting close but really failing at the end. Because honestly, according to me, these are the best chocolate chip cookies in the world. I can attest to having tried quite a few recipes, and as much as I would be like, okay, they're delicious, but it always felt like something was missing. I wasn't getting the perfect cookie. And I definitely think the DoubleTree cookie recipe is literal perfection. I have stayed at Hilton hotels previously, and if you also have, you'll know that the DoubleTree cookie is like a welcome home to the Hilton family type of thing when you get to their hotels. So a lot of people have a lot of fondness to this cookie and what it represents really. So I want to basically do a tutorial on how to follow the recipe. I will share the recipe card that I received and followed in order to make these cookies, but I'm obviously making my video of what was happening while I was doing this and how it eventually turned out. I must say I am pretty much impressed with these, and I am obviously gonna try to do this recipe again because this is literally the first time that I've tried and followed it. As you know, a lot of times when you try recipes for like the first time, there are little glitches here and there, and I obviously went through that as well. But I am happy to report that the final result I was pretty happy with. I would tweak a few things in how I approach this recipe, obviously, to perfect it in the future. But this is not my original recipe. This is merely my trying to show you how it went down when I tried it. I think it was really fun doing this, and I'm so glad I get to share it with you. So if you have any questions, as always, just pop them down in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions in general about my channel and what I should do more of course you're welcome to share with me. Thank you so much for showing my page, love and subscribing. And to those who haven't subscribed yet, please do hit the subscribe button and help me grow. So here's the recipe that I'm following and my ingredients. We are gonna just show you quickly. Starting off with the flour, I'm using cake flour, and then I'm using rolled oats. The recipe specifies rolled oats. Then it says granulated sugar, so that's white sugar normal, and then it says brown sugar. However, I am using this Muscovado brown sugar. You can use the normal brown sugar. I'm also using butter. As you've probably seen, I mostly used salted butter. And then the chocolate. I bought a slab of the 90% cocoa and the dark chocolate chunks. I just wanted to use them both. Then we have the walnuts. These are raw. Some lemon. So I'm going to use the lemon juice from that quarter of the lemon, but it really literally asks for very little. 2 eggs. I'm using vanilla essence. The recipe calls for vanilla paste, so you should do better than me. Bicarbonate of soda, salt, some cinnamon, and that's it, guys. There's a lot of ingredients on there that you might think, oh, okay. So I have the softened butter according to the ingredients that I showed you at first. So I think if you are going to try this, just take a screenshot or something of the actual ingredient list, because I'm not going to tell you the proportions now. There goes the white sugar, and now my brown packed sugar goes in. So that's softened butter and the sugar go into a mixer. It does help to use an electric mixer for this, guys, but honestly, For cookies, it's not like an essential thing. It just makes it easier. However, you can hand mix this using like a wooden spoon or something. But I must say this helped me a lot, especially for the creaming part. So creaming means mixing the butter and the sugar together until you get a nice creamy consistency, and that's what's happening now. So in this regard, using an electric mixer definitely helps. I must say my mixer is having quite a hard time with this because it's a bit of a harder consistency. I think my softening it could have actually gone a bit further, where the butter is actually, more liquid. I think it would have helped in this regard and in the other steps as well. So if you are doing this recipe, I do recommend that you soften the butter all the way, like have it become liquid and then use it in here. I think it'll make this step much easier to deal with. So as you can see, I've had to stop my mixer because I just wanted to make sure that all of the sugar and butter is getting fully incorporated and there are no blotches where mixing has not happened thoroughly. That is very important. If you have to stop it, you stop it and make sure that it's being done the correct way. Once the mixture of the butter and sugar is ready, we introduce the eggs. Now, as mentioned, my previous step wasn't the consistency wasn't as good as it should have been because of the fact that I had used the non-sufficiently softened butter, so it was a bit hard. But we move on. So we add the 2 eggs and we follow that through with the vanilla essence. If you are using vanilla extract or vanilla paste, this is where you do that. Vanilla extract or paste are definitely the better options because they are the real deal. However, they are quite expensive. The lemon is the first ingredient that I thought was quite weird for a cookie recipe. So this recipe calls for a teaspoon of lemon juice. So that's what you see going in there. Our egg and sugar mixture is now fully mixed. I'm just going to make sure that the sides are also well incorporated and everything seems to be all right. Now we are able to move on to the next step. So here goes the flour according to the recipe card. I'm just adding that while this goes, but it's quite dusty, so actually stop the mixer altogether and make sure that I have the right ingredients in there before I start mixing again. I just realized that actually there was so much dust coming from the flour because I was just mixing while I was pouring, and that creates quite a mess. So I'd much rather do this and then start the mixing process all over again. So the flour goes in now. It is followed by our rolled oats. Now we add our bicarbonate of soda or baking soda. Followed by a teaspoon of salt. So some cinnamon goes in. As you can see, it's literally just a dash of it, not that much at all. I would say about a pinch or so of cinnamon. We're back to mixing all the ingredients. I am gonna take it off of the electric mixer very soon because I'm being careful not to over mix this. This is the most important thing to remember about cookies. Don't over mix this because it does lend to very tough cookies and you do not want that. My wooden spoon comes to the rescue. So this part, you literally just making sure that the mixture has fully come together, and there is no more flour that's just, that you can basically see. So that's all you're doing. The minute you don't have any more flour, you literally stop, or any more dry ingredients, you stop. I have chopped the full slab of the 90% cocoa dark chocolate or cacao. I never know which is the good pronunciation for it, but you know what I mean. That's the dark chocolate from the slab that has been chopped now and included in the bowl. Now I take my chocolate chip chunks, which are also dark chocolate, and they are introduced to the rest of the ingredients. Don't make the mistake of using milk chocolate. Your cookies will be too sweet. We've also chopped the walnuts that we had, and they are over there as well. And so I can start mixing. That's literally all the ingredients now together, and they go for the last mix. So you see, I've very finely chopped my walnuts, because I don't want to be able to tell that, oh, that's a nut. I just want it to be a nice, consistency, and obviously it lends itself to the great flavor, but I don't necessarily want to come across huge chunks of the nuts. This consistency is as good as I will be able to do today. Now we're getting ready to bake our first batch of cookies. I have seen on cooking shows, I've seen them just having like scoops of the cookie dough, and then it basically melts into a perfect round in the oven. However, my experience has shown me that this doesn't really happen, and so you end up with cookies that are too chunky. So you see, I am flattening them quite a bit, and I'm just ensuring a nice round shape as well. And I'm just using my hands, and the reason I'm using my hands is because I don't have a nice ice cream scoop to use for this, and I just think it works so much better. I'm in contact and in touch with my cookies. I am very invested in this recipe, guys. You don't understand. I'm really invested in it turning out well. I've done a lot of recipe testing for cookies, and this one is the one. And so I wanted to come out perfectly, not just tasting good, but also looking good and consistent. So that's why I am using my hands. As you can see, my dough is really tough. So this is what I meant earlier when I said the butter not being as soft as it should have been has affected quite a lot of the steps in this recipe. And one of them is definitely the fact that it's so much harder to mold this cookie and make it into a good shape that I want. And so definitely make sure that your butter is fully melted to use in the recipe. So these bake in a preheated oven of 200 degrees Celsius, and they go for about 10 minutes, but don't just look at the time. Do watch how they are, so that they don't over brown or start burning. This actually goes very quickly. Within 10 minutes, you will have a batch of cookies out, which is quite awesome. That it takes the steps before baking are quite involved, and you invest a lot of time in that. But after that, it goes so quickly, and I'm glad for it. Also, if you've made quite a bigger batch than this, you can obviously keep it in the freezer to use at another time, which is quite great. If you've already started with a recipe, you might as well do double so that you can keep for later. And trust me, once you've tasted these, you would want to have kept some for later. that's it for today, guys. They are my beautiful, beautiful cookies. Trust me, they tasted even better than they look. Yeah, very satisfied with everything. They look and tasted amazing. If you are listening to me, you have literally stuck with me till the end, and I really, really appreciate that. So just remember to comment down below on what you thought about my video. And also, please make sure that if you have subscribed to my channel, the notifications are also on so that you can know each time I post a new video. As always, love and light. Do follow me on Instagram at Kholiwe_cooks, and let us learn and improve our cooking habits together.